What is poppin'? It is the Slapton, but a lowly Slapton riding these DeFi waves, and this is the inaugural, the first, hopefully of many, today in crypto, where I give you all of the crypto news that I feel is fit to go ape wild over. Now, keep in mind, I am but a lowly Slapton, which means I can't give you financial advice, but I can educate and I can entertain. So let's get cracking. The first story I want to draw your attention to is this one about Bitcoin, or as the kids like to call it, Boomer Coin, or as I like to call it, the old Bitcoin. I'm a big proponent of the old Bitcoin because I think it has tremendous growth potential still to this day. I think it is the most established, and I think it's this slow wealth generating machine. Sure, you won't get 1,000% return on your investment anymore, but it will just continue to plow forward, making whoever holds it money over the long term, right? So Bukele, who's the president of El Salvador, invited 34 countries, I believe 33 countries, 44 central bankers from developing nations. We're talking Central America, South America, we're talking Africa, we're talking Asia, and he was giving a demonstration and a tutorial on how to use the Lightning Network and how to send and receive payments with Bitcoin, which is mind-blowing to think that we are at this point where central bankers are interested actually manipulating cryptocurrencies and are listening to a guy who accepts cryptocurrency as a legal tender in his country. Very bullish for the old Bitcoin. But an interesting take on this is a major global investment, and this is a summit of central bankers. And who's leading the charge? Well, not the good old US of A, but El Salvador, which shows you that even if you are the predominant, even if you are the dominant economy in the world, you can still get left behind if you don't keep up with the time. Now, good on El Salvador for being forward thinking, and bad job on the good old US of A for not being the ones doing this themselves. But what I think this does show you is that these emerging countries, these countries that aren't beholden to their fiat currencies or the International Monetary Fund, are going to be in a position to innovate and drive this forward. And these old country or these countries that have developed economies like the United States are beholden to their central banks and their fiat currencies. We will see if that will change. Also draw to your attention, the fear and greed index is at a really low level, meaning that market sentiment is low. People do not have confidence in the market, in crypto, in Bitcoin, and things of that nature. However, even with that said, institutions are purchasing up the old Bitcoin like you wouldn't believe. There was a report done by CoinShares that showed inflows into centralized exchanges about $298 million worth of Bitcoin in the last week. If you look at the other assets, now I'm big on Ethereum too, but it was negative. It had an outflow, and all of these other assets are either negative or flat, which shows you that even in times of fear, extreme fear, big institutions are buying up that old Bitcoin. I'm telling you guys, do not sleep on that old boomer coin. And this, I think what this shows you now is that even in these massive pullbacks, the big money's not panicking. The big money's not panicking. They're doing quite the opposite. They're buying the fear. They're buying the uncertainty. They're buying the dip. BTFD, as the kids say. So let's get into the United States a little bit more. The U.S. Congress is, it can no longer ignore the cryptosphere. It's going to have to act. It's going to have to pass regulation because as time goes on, there's more money moving into this space. Their buddies, their investment firms, and, whomever, these rich people who really, in my humble opinion, are the ones pulling the strings and politicians, now have a vested interest to see the space regulated, right? So U.S. Congress basically reached this conclusion, this crazy conclusion that the UST crash, the Terra crash, could have been prevented with regulation. And to that I say, yeah, of course, you could have regulated it and prevented this sort of thing, because if you actually were to look at the balance sheet of UST and understand what it was doing, you would know that it was very risky and highly insolvent, right? So here's my take on this, is these governments are going to move into the space of regulation, and they're probably going to hit stablecoins first, for a number of reasons, but chief among them is that stablecoins make up most volume of crypto trading, and at this point, the crypto sphere, and to some degree, is tied to the performance of stablecoins, which we just saw with the UST collapse. When it fell down, Terra went with it, and then Bitcoin went with it, and everything else went with it. And because this space is getting so big, even macro markets are going to be affected. So the governments can no longer just allow this to happen. They're going to have to step in. If they step in a reasonable and responsible manner that encourages growth, I think it's going to be wonderful. If they are overly restrictive, I think we're going to have problems. Stay tuned. But it's no longer a question of if there will be regulation. The question is when will it happen and what will be the scope of it. So here's another story to illustrate this. Do Kwon, who was the head of Terra, was summoned before the Korean parliament to discuss how UST actually failed. And they were looking into things like, was there insider trading? Was everything on the up and up? So another government getting involved. But wait, there's more. I've got another government getting involved, and that is Great Britain, the UK, the old Queen. Do they salute the Queen? I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I think they do. Let's salute the Queen. The Queen, by proxy of Prince Charles, made mention that she wants to regulate stablecoins. Surprise, surprise. Just very same situation as the United States. They want to get ahead of this. A comprehensive European package on cryptocurrency regulation is coming, and stablecoins, as this says right here on my screen, is on the radar. So hey. Just another example, another piece of evidence that regulation is coming. You guys should be paying attention to this. Of course, I will keep you posted, as always. Back to Terra. Do Kwon, here's an interesting story, proposes a Terra hard fork to save the ecosystem. I think this dude is dreaming. So Do Kwon says we can save Terra. It's more than just UST. We can fork it. We can keep Terra Classic, and then we can have this new chain of Terra that is just this, it's going to offer utility. It's going to be a really cool ecosystem, but we no longer need that UST stablecoin to drive it up. I say dream on, homeboy, but we will see. I think the only reason anybody was using Terra is because of UST and the absurd yield you could get on putting UST into Anchor, which, by the way, was completely insolvent. If you want a recap of this, I'll leave a link to a video I did. I'll put it right above my finger. Chair. All right, let's get to another country, China. Remember when China banned cryptocurrency? It feels like China bans cryptocurrency like every year. When cryptocurrency is really hot, then China will step in and say not so fast, and they'll ban it. And whatever that means, they'll kick some people out, miners, etc. But this shows how seriously those bans should be taken. China returns as the second top Bitcoin mining hub despite the crypto ban. Well, that's not a very good ban if you're the second crypto mining hub in the world in terms of hash rate. So what I think this shows you is if there's utility and value to be made in a product or in technology, people will flock to it. Countries cannot keep it out because it drives value to that country. Again, another wake-up call to the United States. Do not let crypto slip through your fingers to other countries like El Salvador. You will regret this. But there are people in the United States government who do recognize the importance of crypto. One such person is the mayor of New York City. He's famous for accepting his first 3 mayoral payments in cryptocurrencies. Of course, I'm talking about Mayor Eric Adams. And he's a proponent of NFTs and using crypto in general. And he says, why not put birth certificates? Why not put deeds on NFTs? And I would say, why not? Cut out the middleman. We'll have a transparent, permissionless, very trustworthy system in which we can transact, let's say, deeds for real estate. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars to a middleman to verify the deed. And why not put birth certificates on that we can, essentially keep records of and make them transparent and immutable? So I'll leave a link to all this. You can read up more on it, but it just kind of shows you that this space is maturing, that it's getting the attention, good and bad, from government officials. And I'm very excited to see what plays out in the coming years, months, decades, etc. And the last thing, this is going to be a bit of a shill, but it really isn't. I think it's also very cool, is Slingshot Finance, which is an exchange. It offers 7,500 cryptocurrencies for trade. It has a lot of cool functionalities, including a positive slippage return, meaning if you put an order in to buy a crypto at a certain price, but you get it at a better price, you will actually get the benefit of that positive slippage. Now, I will leave a referral link. I'm doing this for selfish reasons. I'm going to be very upfront. The more people that accept that referral link, the more rewards I get. But if you accept that referral link and invite a friend, then you have the opportunity to enter into a raffle, or you will be entered into a raffle to earn 1 full Bitcoin. And who doesn't want that? All right, we did it. that was the inaugural, the first Today in Crypto. I had a blast doing it. I love sharing information. Hopefully, this will be a regular thing. I plan on doing it at least twice a week going forward and sharing this. And if you find this information interesting or helpful, and you want to support the channel, a like and subscribe would be appreciated. I will catch you on the next one. Above all else, remember to ape responsibly, would you? Peace, dudes and dudettes.